guys, welcome to Muscle Memory. My name is Malcolm. Now, if you check this guy's Instagram, he is known as an independent god, established on the Jersey Shore in 1989, and also is a sex icon. Joey Janela, how are you?
What's up? I'm okay. How are you?
Oh, life is good. I mean, like life is on up right now. I get to watch you wrestle in a few days. You versus Sabu. No
Yeah,
ropes, just barbed wire.
just barbed wire.
This could be intense, dude. How are you feeling?
I guess okay. We won't know till I get in the ring. I haven't been in the ring in a few months, so we're just play it by ear. Paint by numbers. We'll see.
I
If
was
the
gonna
bicep holds up.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Like, I know there was an injury at one point. Like, how are we feeling right now as far as like getting back into the ring, especially for a match like this where there's gonna be a lot of possible blood.
I mean, I'm getting coming back 2 months early. Doctors don't recommend I get in there, but they know that I was going to do it no matter what they say, uh, because I needed to do it. But come back 2 months early and stuff. I feel as good as I'm gonna feel. I don't know what percentage I would give my health, but we'll see, I guess.
Oh man, very nonchalant going into such a dangerous match. Now it's gonna be you and Sabu, GCW, Joey Janela, Spring Break 9, April 18th, live on Triller TV Plus, Pearl's Theater. Now this is a huge match. I mean, this is Sabu's final match ever. Why is this match so important for you to have like during this show?
I mean, Sabu is on my Mount Rushmore of professional wrestlers. I grew up watching Sabu. He was one of the first people I saw do that hardcore style. It's like, who is this guy who's throwing chairs at guys' heads and then leaping off the chairs into the audience, and then he's carving himself up, and falling into pits of barbed wire, and just taping his breaking his jaw and then taping his mouth shut. I'm like, this guy's a maniac, you know. And he's on my Mount Rushmore wrestlers. He's certainly one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. And we had a match. It was like the focal point of a documentary that's on me on YouTube. It's called Please Don't Die. It's kind of got a little cult following. A lot of people watch it, and they still watch it to this day. One of the focal points of it is me going into the match with my idol, Sabu. Sabu at the time, he was beat up. He needed hips. He needed this. He needed knees, whatever. He might still need that stuff. I think he's got it repaired. I don't know. To me, he looks in better shape than he did then.
Yeah.
But it just didn't go the way I wanted it to. And calling it with him was just a hassle and it's just a pain in the ass. And from that time, I've come to know Sabu through mutual friends. Johnny, who owns the Nerd Bar in Vegas, is always taking good care of Sabu, especially at the death of his wife, Melissa Coates, who I've known very well. I wrestled her when I was 19, and just kind of he kind of realized through people like, man, even though it's like our first match didn't go well, this guy he did take to my career. He was inspired,
Yeah.
and he started watching my stuff in GCW. He's like, wow, this guy is cool. He does some wild shit. And he always said, one day when I'm ready, we're gonna do another match and we're gonna make up for the last match. And now is the time. And whether he likes it or not, he's gonna have to retire because, you know, after I'm done with him, I don't know if he's gonna be able to wrestle again. But you smell the taste of you smell the smell of money, and you get a little money hungry, and you get back in that ring, you get that itch. Who knows? You might want to Terry Funk it and get back out. But I'm making sure on that day that he never wrestles again.
Oh man, no, it's gonna be very intense. I'm excited to see it. Now, I know there's a quote out saying because of your injury and whatnot, people thought you weren't gonna be able to do this match, and you wanted to make sure that it was you that had this match. And you said, to make sure I don't misquote you, you said that match belongs to me. I don't deserve to have that match taken from me. I sacrificed too much to not be selfish this time. Why do you feel like in this moment, and I understand why, but why do you feel like in this moment you need to be selfish about having this match?
I mean, now's the time. There's no other time to have this match. There's no other person to have this match. We could have rescheduled it for SummerSlam weekend or something, New Jersey or somewhere else. But this is the time. Vegas, spring break. We're gonna have one of the biggest houses in spring break history. A large part to do with this match. Um, and it's gonna be one of the biggest, most impressive indie crowds in quite some time. Besides the Hammerstein shows. I would say. But every day tickets are flying. We're 4 nights away now, 4 days away from this show, and tickets are still going, and we're at like 1,300 tickets now, and it's a large venue,
Yeah.
uh, and this could be a big crowd. This could be a great crowd, and this is the moment. Sabu lives in Las Vegas, so his friends will be there, um, and they'll be able to see him go out. If he wants to, if he says if he's skeptical about retiring now and he gets the itch, you know, people are gonna remember this. This is gonna be like his Ric Flair send off. Ric Flair did other bullshit after um, his match with Shawn Michaels, but everyone remembers the quintessential retirement match of Ric Flair, the emotion, the spectacle of him and Shawn Michaels is just such a amazing match.
Yeah.
This is going to be that in the hardcore genre of professional wrestling, and you know, a lot of guys they've chose to come back against me, or they've chosen to have their last match against me, or they had their last match against me, but they didn't choose that outcome. So who knows? This one is just another one on my bucket list, and it's another chapter in my book. It's just it's gonna be crazy. I just hope he's ready
Absolutely. Maybe
because
like
I'm ready.
absolutely, man. And like maybe after the Sabu match, is there another like hardcore legend you're looking at as far as like getting in the ring with?
I wrestle them all basically.
Yeah.
You know, Terry Funk would have been my number one dream match, but he's gone. Like this is it. Maybe Mick Foley, but he wanted to come back, and I guess his doctors advised him not to because his body's fucked and his brain is screwed up from too many concussions. But he's one of those guys that's still hanging in there. Um, and he's a great guy, and he's done the damage to his body. He's done the damage. I've done a lot of damage to my body and my brain. So I can only imagine how I'm going to be in 10 years, but I don't have the money Mick Foley has. So I'm going to have to keep on doing this till I'm dead, or I'm going to have to go find a job at the Olive Garden. But um, Mick Foley has a lot of money to stop and not have to put his body through this again. But if there's anyone on the list, it's Foley. But who knows? Um, Never say never in wrestling, you know. But that's like one that I would say is probably he's on my Mount Rushmore as well. That's my dream opponent, you know. But who knows if that will ever happen? Probably not. I'd say there's a 2% chance of that ever happening. Maybe not even. Maybe a quarter of a percent.
I mean, yeah, still nothing wrong with dreaming. It's definitely possible. I mean, there always could be a chance one day down the road, but maybe looking back at this match now, there's gonna be no ropes, just barbed wire. How do you make sure that you don't fall into this barbed wire? Because I'm imagining the pain a person has to go through if they hit that.
I mean, we're gonna fall through the barbed wire. That's just a given. This is my third no rope barbed wire match. I did one with Oz Tyler on Point. That was like my first venture into deathmatch wrestling. Uh, I never did anything like that before that match, and it was a very painful match. Um, but that was nothing compared to the match I had with David Starr and Beyond, where for some reason the barbed wire was just unforgiving on that night, and every time I hit it, I would get stuck in it. And barbed wire is not like thumbtacks. Thumbtacks going straight. Barbed wire is kind of a hook on it, and you know it's made for people not falling into it. That's what it's made for other things. And once that gets hooked in you, that is hooked in you. You can't just like pull yourself out sometimes. Sometimes you need to get out. Plus the hair, the hair situation is always the worst. I've lost chunks of hair through barbed wire. Your hair gets tangled, you get tangled. You need good staff there. You need good refs there to get you out. You need wire cutters. It is unrelenting. It's painful. It is one of the most painful things in wrestling. But I've done it all. I dabbled in everything. I'm done with glass. Never touch glass again. And I swear on my father's grave, I'll never do it again because it sends me into panic mode going into those matches. It's just too risky. And fire now, there's no chance in hell I'll ever dabble with fire again after my luck with that. But barbed wire, just never say never. I don't wouldn't say this would be my last dance with barbed wire, but it could be. Who knows?
Is there a stipulation or a weapon that you haven't used before that you're like maybe you want to try?
I think I've done it all, to be honest. Piranhas? I don't know.
That
I've
that
done
would
it
be
all.
something.
I've done it all. They did a piranha tank. Matsunaga did a piranha tank match. It was one of the first death match I ever seen in Japan.
Yeah,
You know, it's not. I want to go over too well in this day and age. You know,
maybe not.
they come out of, after on your turf. Peter's coming after Jimmy Seafood for cooking crabs. They'll definitely come after me for smushing piranhas with my body in a tank.
It's
But
possible. Yeah.
I fuck them too. But
Oh,
anyways, but yeah, no, I've done it all. There's
yeah.
nothing really I haven't done, and that's the beauty of Joey Janela. That's the beauty of my career that I've done everything I wanted to do and aspired to do, and I've had the balls. It takes a lot of balls to do a death match. There's an art to it. It's not just there's some guys that just absolutely suck at wrestling, and that's the only reason they do death matches because they can't. That's the only way to get over. Me, on the other hand, I can do it all. Tactical wrestling. I can wrestle a Saber Junior. I've proved that. I can do comedy wrestling. I've done great comedy matches. I've done death matches. You know, I've wrestled the best luchadors in the world in the last 20 years. Um, I've done the strong style matches against some of the best Japanese wrestlers for the last 20 years. It's just another genre. I don't consider myself a deathmatch wrestler. I don't consider myself a hardcore wrestler. I just consider myself a professional wrestler who's dabbled in a little bit of everything and done it well. I think so.
No, certainly, and it's maybe like an outside perspective as like just I guess more traditional wrestling fan watching what you do. It is hard to say that you wouldn't be one of those guys. It's like the pinnacle of like hardcore extreme wrestling. Will
I
you
know
look?
people put my face on there. I mean, people that don't follow my career, there's a lot of haters on the internet. So I'm just some garbage, untrained wrestler. That's just like echo chamber nonsense that people just spread around because they're like, oh yeah, he's just a backyard. He trained himself. Like, no, I started off. My first couple of matches, I lied to get into business, but obviously throughout the years, I've done more training than a lot of guys. I've spent more money on seminars with a who's who of wrestling. I've gone to schools for years. I worked on my craft, and then, but for the most part, I worked on it on the road, wrestling. Doing double shots in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Do one show in Pennsylvania, and then drive to New Jersey. Get out of the car in your gear and go right to the ring and do another match on the fly. That's how I became a good professional wrestler. It's just echo chamber shit, and people. I'm one of the poster boys for that style of hardcore wrestling because there's clips out there that obviously will be more viral than me doing a wrist lock exchange with another wrestler because no one wants to see that shit in the main. They want to see me fall off a building, or that's what racks up the views, or me getting a spike shoved through my face. And that's just viral. That's just how viral videos work. Because people outside of the realm of professional wrestling and some people, mainstream wrestling fans, they don't know this stuff exists. So when they see this is a shock to them. But since I've been involved in this stuff and I've been very viral, and every time my name gets brought up, or every time I do something stupid, or every time it goes around like wildfire, because they're like, all right, that barnyard outlaw mud show wrestler Joey Janela is at it again, giving pro wrestling a bad name, and it is what it is. And you know, I looked up to the hardcore guys, so there's kids coming up right now like shit. When I was 12, I watched you and do this. I'm like, fuck, 12. Yeah, you're wrestling now. It's like Marcus Mathers is when I started doing this hardcore, these barbed wire. The day I did a barbed wire match, little Marcus Mathers was hopping around the ring like a little jelly bean, jumping bean, jumping off the ropes and shit at like 11 years old.
Yeah.
And I remember this shit. Now he's doing his thing. He's got one of the heaviest schedules WrestleMania weekend this year.
He does, yeah. Is
So,
there like
but
any certain like young guys that are in wrestling right now that like maybe grew up watching you, but you see now they're wrestling, you're like, all right, I think that kid or that girl, that guy, they're gonna be the future of the business.
oh yeah, there's tons. The business has changed. The wrestlers have evolved. I know, like people say, like the indies are not as stacked as they were in 2004 and all that. They always bring up that Ring of Honor roster or who was around. Like the wrestlers were just built different then. But as far as quantity of talent, there's a lot more guys than good guys and shitty guys now. I've been around since 2005. I've
Yeah.
been around since that golden era, which people say of independent wrestling, and I can tell you that now there was a it was very hard to find. Like there was a very few, select amount of good wrestlers back then, but now you can do a random indie show in somewhere in Tennessee that you don't know this guy's name, and you watch and you're like, oh shit, this guy's actually good.
Yeah.
You know, and I'd never heard this guy's name. I never seen this guy. And I'm on social media a lot, so I know who's pretty good. But there's always like now it's like most of these guys like in a random show somewhere, they're like, wow, actually he's pretty good or he will be good. So
Do you feel like the independent scene's like a little healthier now than it once was back then? Because there's a lot of new promotions popping up. Do you feel like today's independent scene is just better overall than previous?
I feel like as far as non-carny bullshit, I think so. I think there's better promotions out there. There's better wrestlers. You're more likely to not get stiffed on a payday. Back in the day, it was like a war zone. Like you do a new company somewhere, like, and it's a loaded card. It's all these guys that were hot at that time in like 2007, 2006, whatever. And you're like, wow, I made it with all these guys. But it's like after the show, it's like, where's the promoter? They're like, yeah, he bailed out because he doesn't have money to pay everyone. Like you don't really run into that anymore in to that because there's social media. Back then there was forums and stuff, but now it's like they'll get called out immediately. But it's healthier in that perspective. And as far as wrestlers and as far as you know people with good heads on their shoulders and not you know huffing paint somewhere and shooting heroin in a dungeon and then going and wrestling.
Yeah.
As far as that, I think it's a lot healthier. I think, you know, but yeah, I think so.
Earlier, you mentioned different weapons and whatnot that you've gone through or worked throughout the years. You mentioned a spike. Now, recently on AEW TV, John Moxley went through I get it's like a spiked baseball bat or something like that. It went into his back. What was your reaction to watching that? Because like me, who doesn't watch a lot of like extreme wrestling, to me, I was like, this is insane.
It was out of control. I watched it live actually because, of course, I've been watching AEW live a little bit more recently than I have my entire run there. Actually, I barely watched it and I wrestled there. Only time I would watch AEW is when I was there. As soon as I left there, I just stopped watching because I'm not. I'm just been getting more back into wrestling now and watching it now. But I watch it now for certain reasons. Maybe because my hot girlfriend, my hot you know girlfriend that everyone aspires to be with, that Joey Janela, the bad boy, happens to be with, um, is wrestling there. But I watch it and I was watching it live and that spike bat was out of control. And I don't know if I would do something like that because that is fucking crazy because those were real nails
Yeah.
and it stuck in him. I don't know if he knew that was going to happen or it just happened that way. But that was crazy. Sometimes you just know with this stuff that if you're a deathmatch wrestler, you've been in it, you're like, all right, this is going to stick in me and this is going to be the visual, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't even know with that. It's like, there were big nails too. There were long nails, you know? It can stick in your. We had an incident at GCW back in the day where something similar to that happened to Marcus Crane, and it were these boards with something called pigeon spikes, so the birds don't, there's spikes, so the pigeons don't go in there and shit on
Yeah.
everything. And they were decided to bring them into deathmatch scene at the early days of GCW. And Marcus Crane, I think he was wrestling Takeda, took a move onto it, and it went into his back like that. The pigeon spike, which was fucking brutal. And after the match, I was like, "You okay, man?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "You don't look okay, man. You're just laying there. You're turning blue." And he's like, "Am I?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, now that I think I'm having a little trouble breathing." I was like, "Yeah, man, you're turning blue, man. Maybe you should go to the hospital. I don't know what's wrong with you." And he's like, "Oh shit, I am turning blue." So then he gets rushed to the hospital, and it turns out that one of those pigeon spikes and went through his rib cage and punctured his lungs. A couple of those, and that could have happened with that thing.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it punctured his lungs. These pigeon spikes. So with that, it's like a risk, but luckily there's medical staff there right on the scene. It's these guys are putting their lives on the line, and Moxley showed like that he's still a little bit of a whack job doing that, especially with a child. His wife was in the backstage, probably watched it like, "What the fuck, John?" Like if I had a kid, I wouldn't be doing any of this. I'd be wrestling like fucking I'd be wrestling like Colt Cabana or something.
Yeah.
As safely as nicely as possible.
Oh man. Now I know that you were at AEW Dynasty. You were sitting like a few rows in front of me. And we probably know the reasons. Megan Bayne had a title match on that show. What was your thoughts on her match?
I thought it was awesome. I thought it was the best wrestling match on the show. I'm not just saying that because she's my girlfriend, but it was like it was quintessential professional wrestling.
Yeah.
The big baby face, uh, the bigger heel, you know, um, the managers, the Penelope, drawing the ref and the choking and the tripping. It was wrestling 101, and then the pop when Luther took Penelope and brought her to the back, and then it goes and then went in a different direction, a little bit more of you know, the wrestling, the smart wrestling people like to see. So it was a well done match, one of the best matches of the night for sure. One of my favorites. And it was cool, man. It was really cool to see that, because I was there. That's a nerve wracking thing. I don't think I even had a championship match there. Maybe I have. I don't know. Maybe in COVID era, but that was in front of no people. But yeah, it's a nerve wracking deal. Especially that was her first pay per view. My first time in AEW was a pay per view. You know, so I was thrown right into the gauntlet. Now that they're toning down their buildings smartly and going to tighter venues, and you know, which adds to the atmosphere. And still, the pay per views are still drawing what they draw. So Megan has been doing just smaller concert venues and stuff for AEW Dynamite. So that was our first time wrestling in a big arena. So it was cool. It was cool to be there for. You know,
Absolutely. Do you feel like she's a future women's world champion?
yeah, I think everyone does. I think I knew that last year. I think I think I knew that years ago before I even met her. You can see that.
Yeah, no, she's an absolute star. For sure.
Yeah, yeah, future, not women's champion, multi-time. I think it's a lot more. I think we're just scratching the surface with her career. I think she's gonna transcend in the mainstream. It's just, um, I mean, I think they got something special, so they better, book her correctly.
Absolutely. I got two more questions for you, Joey, and I'll let you go. So last time we did an interview, maybe 2 times ago when we did an interview, we talked about you possibly wanting to join WWE at the age of 36. Is that still the goal? Does Joey Janela still want to join WWE?
36. I mean, oh shit, that's coming. That's right around the corner. Who knows? There's a lot of, you know. I just got to hit up my boy, Uncle Nick. Uncle Paul, and Uncle Dwayne. Those are my boys. We're in a group chat on Facebook,
Are you?
and we just talk about the independents,
Yeah.
uh, the singer of the weekend.
Okay.
You know how much we all love the weekend. How he should be every WrestleMania theme song for the next 30 WrestleManias, and we talk about WWID and how they say, Joey, who's the top indie dogs? And I tell them, I said, I'm a scout. I used to be a scout for AEW, everyone says. So
Okay.
now I'm a scout for the WWID,
Yeah.
WWE. Nick Khan, he's like an uncle to me. Like he, like we just, we go to White Castle together. We eat sliders and
I believe
stuff.
that. I believe that.
We just talk wrestling. We just talk about, he's like, we're not trying to destroy the independents. I said, I know people are just crazy. They're just saying that. And he's like, no, he's like, we love the independents. And I go, Nick, I love the WWE and I love you. I
Yeah.
love you like an uncle. And he gives me, he, he buys my slider sometimes. And we just go on with our day. And The Rock, he's like another uncle to me.
Yeah. I can tell. Y'all look
He's
alike.
like, he's been watching a lot of my promos lately. And he went, um, he was like, man, he's like, you can make it in Hollywood. I said, really? He said, yeah, Joey, you got it. You got that. He's like, you just got to fix that stupid gap in your mouth, in your teeth. You look like a meth head.
I mean, Michael Strahan has a gap. It doesn't really matter.
I mean, I have a tooth missing. He said, you look like you smoke meth in a sex dungeon. I said, Rocky. I said, calm down for a second. He goes, I got a role for you. Baywatch 3. I said, oh shit. He said, yeah. So Zach Efron, apparently he drowns or
Yeah.
something. So they need a new lifeguard. So I'm the new lifeguard that comes into town.
Mhm.
But all the girls love me. They all want to give me little kisses.
But they can't. But they can't. You
No,
got.
they no, they can. But I got an evil dark side to me.
Oh, okay.
They don't know that my uncle, he's an evil developer,
Uh-huh.
and we're gonna knock down the beach and we're gonna build condos. So
Oh.
that's the twist in the movie.
Oh, it's for the movie. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, Sydney Sweeney's in the movie. We have a sex scene. You know,
Congratulations.
I know Megan wasn't happy about it, but
Probably
she
not.
understands. She understands what this means to me and my whole family, my uncles, Nick, Paul, and The Rock. And then I think after that, that's gonna come out, and then we're gonna go into WrestleMania next year. We're gonna build to me versus uh, I
Probably.
think I'm trying to think who they said what wrestler they wanted me to wrestle. It's a big name. I think Randy Orton actually.
Oh, he doesn't have an opponent. I mean, you could
No,
be.
no, this is not this year. This
Oh,
is
next year. Next year.
after. This
Okay.
is after Baywatch. After I make it to Hollywood.
Okay. Okay. I got you.
Yeah, Randy Orton. The thing is, I'm the new legend killer. I've killed Sabu. I've killed them all.
Yeah.
And Randy Orton, he's actually he left WWE. He loses a loser leaves town match to Grande Americano.
Okay.
And loser leaves America has to go to Mexico. And so I come in and I was like, I'm the new legend killer, and I start punting people in their heads.
Yeah. Just all of them.
And then Randy Orton goes, no, I'm the legend killer. And he comes back and I said, how about we just both kill the legends together? And he goes, okay. And that he tricks me, gives me an RKO, and it builds to WrestleMania where I go over him and then I win King of the Ring in June. And then after King of the Ring, I have a title match against Cody Rhodes. I
Yeah.
beat his ass, but I get disqualified because
Duh.
um, because I hit him with a light tube or something. This is what The Rock said to me, Uncle
Oh,
Rock.
it
So
sounds like
then,
a really long voice memo.
yeah, I hit him with a light tube and it gets disqualified. But then they said, you're suspended from WWE. You can't use glass here. You can't use CM Punk goes, you can't use real glass. Are you a fucking idiot? Are you an idiot, Joey? Real glass? I said, I come from the deathmatch world. Do you know who I am, CM Punk? Blow me. And he goes, yeah.
What?
And then he beats my ass in the locker room. He beats my ass. He puts me in a triangle choke and chokes me out. And I said, I'm leaving WWE. CM Punk, he's been mean to me. Whatever. I'm out of here. But then I'm surprised in the Royal Rumble. I'm number 30. I
Yeah.
come out. and I eliminate CM Punk. I say, kiss my ass, real glass in your ass. And then I go to WrestleMania,
Yep.
uh, and I beat Cody Rhodes, CM Punk in a 3-way match. And then we film after that Baywatch 4.
I think we just booked all the way through WrestleMania 44. Wow. Um, I almost forgot what the question was, but I love that answer. Now, I'm going to give you one last question for you, Joey, because man, I was just so enthused by that answer. After all these years of you doing these hardcore matches and you're having this kind of match with Sabu, why do you decide to keep doing this? Like, why do you decide to keep doing these kind of hardcore matches?
I don't know. Brain damage?
I don't know.
I think it's brain damage. That's why I keep on deciding to do it. And money.
Money's good.
No, but yeah, I'm toning it down a little bit. Save it for times that count for real. And I don't need to do these hardcore matches. I always like a little bit of element of ECW in my matches. Maybe a door, maybe a couple chairs.
Yeah.
That's always fun. It's
Well,
kind of a norm for wrestling now in AEW. Sometimes in a big match, you'll get a table, you'll get this and that. They kind of follow that ECW vision with some of that stuff. I think that's fine, but the hardcore stuff, it's like it's high risk, but it's high reward. But sometimes the reward isn't so great when you're laid up for with third-degree burns all over yourself. That's like it's like, is this worth it? Or I just go, I've been around for almost 20 years now. I could just go out there and just do a little dance, a little jig, and do a basic wrestling match and get the same response sometimes. So, but we know me, that will never happen. It's like no matter where I'm booked, it's like pedal to the metal. And I won't get my flowers till it's said and done. We all know that. So,
well, I want to give
all
you.
said and done. I mean, said and done after the Baywatch movie. That's when I'll get my
Of
flowers.
course. I mean, at that point, you're winning like big time awards. This wrestling stuff would be little to you at that point.
Yeah,
Like
I'm winning. They booked it already. I believe. Oscar. They booked the
you
Oscar.
booked it. Now, I don't think the Oscars are something you book ahead of time. I think they have to go through a
No,
process.
I think Nick Khan books that too.
Oh, I mean, Nick Khan probably books everything. I mean, Nick Khan is the
He
god.
books. Yeah, he books
Well,
entertainment. He's just Mr. Entertainment. That's what I like to call him.
Mr.
He's like the booker for all entertainment now. He goes, yeah, that's. He doesn't even book that, but he books everything else.
Ah, okay. Well, Joey, I think that you and Nick Khan probably have a lot to talk about as far as like your Baywatch movies and
Fighters.
WrestleMania 44 main events and whatnot. But I want to wish you good luck against Sabu. I don't even think you need it because I know you're a great wrestler. I know you got it. I would say stay safe, but I know that's a match that's kind of hard to say that too. But Joey, where can I find you on social media as they get ready to watch you at GCW Spring Break 9? You, Sabu, April 18th. It's going to be great. Where can I find you on social media?
The bad boy Joey Janela on Instagram. I'm losing a lot of followers. Um, every day on Instagram. I don't know why. It's because I think it's because I'm dating Megan now. All the girls they're really jealous, and they're like, "Oh my god, like he's never gonna, he's gonna be married to this girl
Yeah.
and live a luxurious life with this girl for the rest of his life. We have no chance anymore with the bad boy. He's a punk, but I'm gonna cry myself to sleep because he's no longer single. So they just keep on unfollowing me from Instagram. So I would follow me on there. I would follow me on Instagram. There's a lot of haters too. Yeah, as you can see, they're jumping me at the merch table. They're flipping my merch table.
Yeah.
It's like and says, in his song, "Many men wish death upon me because I'm the one to suck on Megan's titties." That was the lyrics to the song.
Oh yeah, yep, those are definitely those lyrics to that song.
Keep them there. So follow me on there.
Yeah.
Twitter, shadow banned. You can't even find me on there unless you. It's like if you know, you know. I'm somewhere on there. Shadow banned. Like I've shown my dick on there 1,000 times, which I never have. But I'm Janela on Twitter. There's other social media apps, Threads, and what's the other one? Blue Sky.
This guy, yeah.
But I don't know my handles on there. Just look up my name, you'll find me.
Yeah.
Pornhub, Big Cock Joe, 6969. And a lot of jerk videos in there. And
Okay.
Tumblr, knitting with Joey.
Yeah.
Next one, yeah, on Tumblr. On TikTok, I don't know my TikTok. I don't use that, but on what else? What other social media apps are there?
There's Snapchat. Do you have Snapchat?
Not really. I used it. I used to send out nudes.
All right. Yep. I figured you'd say that. Yep.
I don't need to do that anymore.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about it.
Wow. Well, Joey Janela. Yeah, Joey Janela, we're gonna watch you on Spring Break 9. You, Sabu, no rope, barbed wire match. Guys, my name's Malcolm. This is Muscle Memory, and we're out.
We going up like 1,000. I'ma flex just like a muscle man Malcolm. We going up like 1,000. I'ma flex just like a muscle man Malcolm. When it just like 1, 2, 3. If you like the channel, this will squeeze. If you like the channel, this will squeeze. If you like the channel, this will squeeze. Hey.